Welcome to the Prime Desk on S24 television from the capital city, Abuja, where we bring you the news in Nigeria and around the world. I am Hadiza Galadima, but first, the headlines. 13 states. Trump switches planes over Iran security fears. Osun police summon APC Senator Fada Hunsi over killer court comments. NIMET warns of possible flash floods in 13 states. Trump switches planes over Iran security fears. Now, the news in full. The Osun State Police Command has summoned the lawmaker representing Osun East Senatorial District, Francis Fadahunsi, over comments allegedly linked to a killer cord. The police said the investigation followed remarks attributed to the senator, which raised concerns and required clarification. Fadahunsi, a member of the All Progressives Congress, is expected to appear before investigators to explain the circumstances surrounding the statement. The development comes amid heightened attention to political rhetoric and security concerns in the state. The police said the invitation forms part of efforts to establish the fact and ensure that public statements do not undermine peace and security. Also, the police have declared two men wanted in connection with an alleged murder in Ikoyi, Lagos State. The suspects are being sought as investigators intensify efforts to establish the circumstances surrounding the death and identify those responsible. The police have urged members of the public with useful information about the whereabouts of the two men to come forward and assist the investigation. Authorities also warned against harboring or assisting anyone wanted in connection with the case. The development highlights renewed police efforts to track down suspects linked to violent crimes in Lagos and bring them before the law. The National Population Commission (NPC) has partnered with the United Nations Children's Fund (UNICEF) to ensure that every child in Nigeria has a legal identity through birth registration. The initiative is aimed at closing gaps in birth registration and ensuring that children have official proof of their identity. The partnership is expected to strengthen birth registration systems and improve access to essential services. A legal identity can help children access education, healthcare, social protection, and other government services while also providing protection against exploitation and trafficking. The MPC and UNICEF says the collaboration will support efforts to make birth registration more accessible, particularly for children in underserved and hard-to-reach communities. With young people making up the vast majority of Nigeria's population, discussions around their role in shaping the nation's future continue to take center stage. At a recent gathering in Abuja, political leaders, policymakers, and young innovators gathered at the I-Hill Global Youth Impact Forum 2026 to address a critical question. Is Nigeria truly investing enough in its youth? Our correspondent, Martha Opalanido, was there and now files this report.
Cliche often repeated across political podiums. Young people are the leaders of tomorrow. But as stakeholders meet in Abuja, a critical question remains. Is Nigeria truly investing enough to secure that future? At the IHIL Global Youth Impact Forum 2026, distinguished personalities gather to tackle the gap between potential and opportunity. Opening the conversation, the First Lady of Kwara State, Olufolake Abdurazak, called for concrete action in skills acquisition, healthcare intervention, and education.
It is in this regard and in complementing the efforts of the government that my office and the Ajike People Support Center, which is my NGO, continue to promote the cause of youth, women, and children, and also as the chairperson of the advisory board of the Water Life Save initiative, this has also been my focus. And all this is evident in the programs and activities that we engage in, ranging from skills acquisition and empowerment, education support, and health interventions focused primarily on women and youth.
For former lawmaker Shina Pella, youth investments must be rooted in job creation and economic access, arguing that an idle youth population stifles national growth.
So I'm using this opportunity to call the attention of the young leaders in this room that the theme today is not dream to dream. It is from dream to impact. Vision without execution is just hallucination. And I will tell you that we don't need any form of hallucination in Africa. What we need is builders.
Addressing reporters on the sidelines of the event, Special Assistant on Media, Publicity and Strategic Communications underscored the federal commitment to youth initiatives.
So the whole idea of this I Hail a Global Youth Impact Forum is to ensure that the youth have the right platform and that also the stakeholders are able to provide them with the needed finance and investment opportunity like we have seen demonstrated here today.
The atmosphere shifted from serious dialogue to vibrant celebration as dancers took the stage, infusing the gathering with energy and entertainment.
Is more about political exclusion and underemployment and unemployment, because there are lots of youths that are done with university service and everything, but they don't have the opportunity to be employed because there are lack of employment in lots of places.
As the curtain falls on the event, the message from the nation's capital is clear. Inspiration alone isn't enough. Young Nigerians need real, sustained opportunities to thrive. Martha Okpala-Nedu, reporting for S24 Television, Abuja.
As the world marks International Youth Day, attention is once again on the energy, creativity, and potential of young people. In Nigeria, several government grants and empowerment programs have been introduced to support youth development, but question remains over how accessible these opportunities are to everyday young Nigerians. Our correspondent spoke to some youth to hear their views.
It's International Youth Day, a day to celebrate young people and spotlight the opportunities available and accessible to them. While Nigerian governments have introduced several grants and youth programs to support youth entrepreneurship and job creation, we're out on the streets of Abuja to ask Nigerian youths one simple question. How accessible do you think these government grants are to Nigerian youths today?
Oh, to an extent, it is not accessible. And now at the other end, I can say it's accessible. The thing is, most of these government initiatives, most of these young people are not even aware about it. So it's only few that we are, so a whole large number of young people are not aware. So it's not accessible to a large number of young people.
I would say not very accessible. First of all, they need to be more sensitization about these opportunities existing. I don't think a lot of youths know that there are grants that are available to them for them to even access them. Then sometimes the requirements to access these grants are quite outrageous. So you find that very little people are able to access the grants.
Basically, from time immemorial, grants has been, very tedious to access. But I think the tides are turning because recently there are various, although they are not grants per se, but at least there are empowerment programs. There are, finances, tech lifting programs that caution the effect of, the tediousness of accessing the grants. So I believe with those, youths can, embrace their target areas and just, get skills, and from there they can, through the building of the skills, maybe someday access grants. So I think the walkway to get the grants is quite easier at the moment.
Because a lot of us are not aware that there's a grant in the first place. And even if there is, some would be like it's only accessible to a few, maybe an opportune few.
The challenges is that most of the awarding institutions, organizations, as the case may be, they tend to request for, how do I put it? They tend to request for track record of organizations or of startups before they can access these grants, and that's one of the challenges, because the startup capital is not there. So to now access the grant itself without a track record of series of engagements, it makes it very, very stressful in getting those grants.
Okay, the solutions first is that the entrepreneur in quotes, or the entrepreneur should be ready, not just seeking for funds, but what exactly are you going to use the funds for?
Okay, the solution is that government agencies should work more on their communication. They should focus on using digital media to communicate when these things are out to young persons. Their social media handles should be accessible to these young people to see this information there, and they should design their communications in a way that would attract the young people to always check on their website and also check on their social media platform.
Young Nigerians clearly have different experiences when it comes to government grants. While some believe these grants are accessible, others still say that these grants are faced with challenges when it comes to accessibility. But bigger question still remains. Can this program provide inclusivity so that more ordinary youth can partake in this as well? Martha Okpalanedu, reporting for S24 Television.
After secondary school, many young Nigerians face a major decision: pursue a university degree or learn a trade and acquire practical skills. With rising unemployment and growing concerns about the cost of higher education, the choice between academic qualifications and vocational skills is becoming an important conversation among young people and their families. S24's Noella Samuel took the question to the streets of Abuja to hear directly from young Nigerians.
After secondary school, many young Nigerians are faced with a serious decision to make. Should they go straight to the higher institution, or should they learn the handwork or skill that will make them financially independent? Some believe that going to the university to earn a degree offers more open doors, while others believe that learning a handwork or a skill opens more opportunities and finance. Today we're on the street to ask people which they would advise young people to go with first and why.
Oh wow, I think I would choose going to university first before learning a skill.
Okay, I'm a graduate actually. Immediately after school, I didn't gain admission immediately. That is after my SSC, I didn't gain admission immediately. And I used the opportunity that I had then because of the time I spent at home to learn a handwork before I could gain admission into school.
It's good to learn a handwork before going to the university.
Okay, I prefer going to university to earn a degree first instead of learning a skill.
I'll choose going to this university because I know what I'm going there to do.
Because one thing is that once you go to university, you have this confidence of mingle with people. I think I prefer going to the university.
But that doesn't mean that I wanted to learn that handwork then. But I just had to because I had the time as at that time.
Me, I first of all learn a handwork. It's through that my handwork I use to finish my school.
I want to be the first graduate, their first graduates. I want to make them proud, and I want to become more exposed with university life and gain more knowledge, school knowledge. Yes.
Actually, sometimes most people, they will choose to go for handwork because handwork is to favor some people. For some people, that handwork does not favor them. It's better they go to school to further their education.
Be it a university degree or a practical skill, what matters most is to have the knowledge and ability to build a meaningful future as young Nigerians. That is what most people on the street has to offer to us today. Remember to have the ability and knowledge to build a meaningful future. I am Noella Samuel reporting for S24 Television.
The Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, has warned residents in 13 states of possible flash floods following expected heavy rainfall. The agency advised residents, motorists, and relevant authorities to remain alert, particularly in areas prone to flooding. NIMET urged residents to avoid driving or walking through flooded roads and to pay attention to weather updates as rainfall patterns change. It also called on state authorities and emergency agencies to strengthen preparedness measures in vulnerable communities. The warning comes as the rainy season continues across parts of the country, with heavy downpours capable of causing sudden flooding, disrupting transportation, and damaging properties. If you're just joining us, you are watching the Prime Desk on S24 television. Stay with us for our international news coming up after the break. Thanks for staying with us. At least 44 people have been killed after a ferry capsized in Zimbabwe in one of the country's latest deadly water accidents. Rescue teams and emergency responders were deployed following the incident as authorities worked to account for passengers and determine the cause of the disaster. Officials are expected to investigate the circumstances surrounding the capsizing, including the condition of the vessel, passengers' capacity, and the weather condition at the time of the incident. The tragedy has renewed concerns over safety standards on inland waterways and the need for stronger enforcement of passenger and vessel safety regulations. Also, US President Donald Trump says he secretly switched planes during a recent flight, citing concerns over a possible security threat linked to Iran. Trump revealed that the aircraft originally assigned to him faced a greater risk, prompting the last-minute change.
US President Donald Trump has revealed he secretly changed aircraft during his return from Turkey last month, following security advice linked to an alleged Iranian threat against him. Trump had attended a NATO summit in Ankara and was initially expected to travel to Britain aboard Air Force One. But shortly after boarding the aircraft, he was reportedly moved out through a catering vehicle and taken to a smaller US military aircraft, a C-32A. The operation was reportedly designed to conceal Trump's actual location and prevent potential attackers from identifying the aircraft carrying the president. Air Force One continued the journey as a decoy, with journalists and some White House staff reportedly unaware that Trump was no longer on board. The aircraft carrying Trump arrived in Britain shortly before the decoy Air Force One. Trump has since confirmed that the decision was made by the US Secret Service and the military. He said he was told there was a threat but did not ask for extensive details, adding that he regularly receives threats.
It's only up to Secret Service. I just follow what they'd like to do. So I go by Secret Service and the military. They wanted me to go on a different flight, a different plane, equal safety, but they wanted me to do it, so I do it. I do what they say. I guess there was a threat out there. I didn't really ask them much about it. I get a lot of threats.
The White House has defended the security measures, saying There are enemies of the United States who have targeted the president, and the authorities use every available tool to protect him. The operation comes amid heightened tension between Washington and Tehran. It also raises questions about presidential security and the risks faced by those traveling with the president, particularly journalists and staff who were reportedly unaware of the aircraft switch. For now, US authorities have not publicly disclosed specific details about the alleged Iranian threat or whether anyone was directly linked to a planned attack. Mariam Dalhatu, reporting for S24 television.
Parts of Europe have witnessed a spectacular celestial event as a total solar eclipse crossed the region. The rare phenomenon turned daylight into darkness in areas along the path of totality, drawing thousands of people outdoor to witness the event. Duella Samuel reports.
Millions of sky watchers across parts of Europe have witnessed a rare total solar eclipse as the moon completely blocked the sun and briefly prolonged areas along its path into darkness. The moon has moved directly between the earth and the sun, creating a spectacular total solar eclipse across parts of Europe. The eclipse path of totality stretched across Greenland, Iceland, northern Spain, and parts of northeastern Portugal, while much of the rest of Europe experienced a partial eclipse. During totality, the moon completely covered the sun, temporarily turning daytime skies dark and revealing the sun's outer atmosphere, known as the corona. The event has attracted thousands of sky watchers, tourists, and astronomy enthusiasts who gathered at viewing locations to witness the rare phenomenon. For many parts of Europe, the eclipse is particularly significant because the continent has not experienced a total solar eclipse on this scale since 1999. In countries outside the path of totality, viewers could still see the moon cover a large portion of the sun, creating a dramatic partial eclipse. Astronomers have urged people to observe the eclipse, warning against looking directly at the sun without satisfied protective eyewear, as doing so can cause serious damage to the eyes. Scientists also use the event as an opportunity to observe the sun's corona and study the interaction between the sun, moon, and earth. Noella Samuel reporting for S24 television.
Now, a break from politics and current affairs as we bring you the latest from the world of entertainment. A zoo in Yola is going viral after visitors reportedly found animal statues instead of live wildlife, with a fenced lion statue sparking online jokes. Also, Davido is also making headlines as his latest album, Oriade, places 12 songs on the Billboard Afrobeat charts, while Cristiano Ronaldo and Georgina Rodriguez reportedly tied the notes in Portugal. And for for more actions, fans reached for 4 Premier Leagues today on Premier League following the release of its new trailer. Karimat Hassan has the reports.
That welcomed us is this crocodile. It was supposed to be a simple trip to the zoo, but for some visitors in Yola, it turned into something completely unexpected. Visitors to a zoo in Adamawa State reportedly paid to see live animals. Instead, they found statues of lions, crocodiles, and other wildlife inside the enclosures. The statues have reportedly been there for decades. Some date back to 1986 and were created by a National Youth Service Corps members identified as Cliff. But it was the lion statue that got the most attention. The statue was placed behind a wire fence, leading to funny reactions online. Some people joked that the zoo had fenced the lion like it was alive. Beyond the jokes, the situation has also raised questions about the condition of some tourist attractions in Nigeria and the challenges of funding them. Meanwhile, Davido is making waves with his latest album, Oriade. Released on July 31st, the album has reportedly placed 12 songs on the US Billboard Afrobeat Songs charts. Before made it to the top 10, while the album also debuted at number 8 on the World Albums charts. Its first week US sales are reportedly around 5,000 units, sparking comparisons with Wizkid's Morayo, which recorded about 13,000 first week US sales. Davido has continued promoting the album, including a live performance of Already Falling in London. But away from the music scene, one of the biggest celebrity stories today is the wedding of Cristiano Ronaldo and Georgina Rodriguez. Almost after 10 years together, the couple has officially tied the knot. Ronaldo and Georgina reportedly had a private civil wedding ceremony in Cascais, Portugal on August 11th. The ceremony was kept intimate, with family and their children in attendance. The couple announced their engagement on August 2025, after years of being together and raising their family. Their wedding now marks a new chapter in a relationship that has remained in the public eye for almost a decade. And finally, action fans have something new to look forward to. The first trailer for Reacher Season 4 is out, giving fans another look at Jack Reacher as he prepares for a new challenge. The season premieres on Prime Video today, August 12th. From a zoo filled with animal statues to Davido's latest chart success, a celebrity wedding, and the return of Jack Reacher, these are some of the stories making entertainment headlines today. Karimat Hassan, S24 Television.
And now happening in the world of sports, Fenerbahce are making serious moves in the transfer market, with Romelu Lukaku set to become the latest major addition to an increasingly ambitious squad. And while one club is adding experience and firepower, Marcus Rashford is back at Manchester United after Barcelona decided against making his loan move permanent. Gospower Uduakan has the reports.
Fenerbahce are putting together one of the most eye-catching squad in European football, and Romelu Lukaku could be the latest major piece of the puzzle. The Turkish giants have reached a verbal agreement with Napoli for the Belgian striker, with a new bid worth more than €6 million accepted by the Italian club. Lukaku has also agreed personal terms, with the remaining paperwork now being checked before the transfer can be officially completed. But Lukaku is not arriving at Fenerbahce in isolation. The Turkish club have already made major moves this summer, bringing in players with experience at the highest level, including Mason Greenwood and Nathan Ake. Greenwood arrived after an impressive spell at Marseille, and the English forward has already made his presence felt. He scored in Fenerbahce's 2-0 first-leg victory over Sturm Graz before the Turkish side completed the job with another win in Austria. A 3-0 aggregate victory sent Fenerbahce into the Champions League playoff round, where they will face Lyon. Nathan Ake has added another layer of experience to the squad. The former Manchester City defender has brought in the strength the backline needs and provide the kind of Champions League experience Fenerbahce will need if they are to make it through qualifying. And now Lukaku could give them another dimension in attack. At 33, the Belgian brings physical strength, experience, and a proven record in front of goal. With Greenwood offering pace and creativity, Ake strengthening the defense, and Lukaku potentially leading the line, Fenerbahce are building a squad designed to compete on the European stage. And while Fenerbahce are adding big names, another high-profile player is returning to his parent club. Marcus Rashford is back in Manchester United training after Barcelona decided against making his loan move permanent. The English forward spent last season in Spain after leaving United in search of a fresh start. At Barcelona, Rashford rediscovered his form, contributing 28 goals and assists as he helped the club to domestic success. But Barcelona chose not to trigger the option to sign him permanently, sending the 28-year-old back to Manchester. His return comes at an important moment for United. Under new manager Michael Carrick, Rashford now has another opportunity to prove that he can still play a major role at Old Trafford. United remains open to a permanent departure, but Rashford is also prepared to compete for his place. So, while Fenerbahce are building their future with new signings, Manchester United are once again deciding what to do with one of their most recognizable players. For Lukaku, the next step is completing the move to Istanbul. For Rashford, it is about proving that his story at Manchester United still has another chapter. Udokan Godspar, reporting for S24 Television.
Osun police have summoned APC Senator Fadahusi over his controversial killer court comments. The senator is expected to respond to the police invitation. Nine And this brings us to the end of the Prime Decks on S24 Television. But before we go, a quick recap of the top stories. Osun police have summoned APC Senator Fadahusi over his controversial killer court comments. The senator is expected to respond to the police invitation. NIMET has warned of possible flash floods in 13 states. Residents in vulnerable areas have been advised to stay alert and follow weather updates. US President Donald Trump says he secretly switched planes over security fears linked to Iran. He says the aircraft originally assigned to him faced a greater risk. Join us tomorrow, same time, and remember to do follow us on all our social media platforms at S24 Television for more updates and breaking stories. My name is Hadiza Galadima. Bye for now. Join us tomorrow, same time, and remember to follow us on all our social media platforms at S24 Television for more updates and breaking stories. My name is Hadiza Galadima. Bye for now.